Now, since I'm not giving you guys a stream today on this channel, I'm doing it on my other live stream channel, I decided what I wanted to do is I found an article on Fox News that I think hammers home a lot of the questions that we have following the affidavits release, right? And I want to kind of go over this with you because I think a lot of us share these opinions. I'm JBGunner. This is Crime Time with JBGunner, and today we're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 murders again. There's just no other good shit going on. But this article, I think, discusses some of the questions that we have, and I'm impressed to see mainstream media actually asking these questions. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JBGunner, and this is Crime Time with JBGunner. First and foremost, before we get into this, I want to say thank you very much to everybody that supports the channel, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truth is, guys, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you, the Gun Squad. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. With that being said, if you too want to support the channel, if you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. I appreciate every last one of you. Each time. So thank you guys. You guys are what makes this thing work. While you're down there, you can also find the links to my other channels. Now, don't go down there if you're a snowflake. I'm just letting you guys know this now. But you can go subscribe to my other live stream channels, my political channel, things of that nature. I also want to show you guys something else. Because a lot of you guys ask me, how can we find your other channels? Usually it's in the description box of the videos, but I actually made some of the channels easier for you to access. If you go right here to the homepage of Crime Time and you scroll all the way down, you'll see where it says other JBGunner channels. I'm starting to rebuild some channels again. Unfortunately, got all of them removed very, very recently, about 2 months. And guys, we are about to hit 5,000 subscribers here on this channel. Nope, still 4.999. 4,999. Ain't that a bitch? Well, we should hit it probably by the time I'm done making this video. I want to say thank you. That is 5,000 subscribers in less than 2 months. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you guys so much. All right. Enough of me babbling and shilling and doing all that good shit. Let's get ahead and get to this article because it's going to bring up topics that I think we all need to talk about. And I think a lot of us have these questions. So it's good to see other people in more of a professional setting, if you want to call it that, have these same questions. It says, Idaho murders, 10 key mysteries that need to be solved. Corporal Brett Payne's affidavit is the information needed to delve into 10 key mysteries of the Idaho murders. Let's go ahead and take a look. Brian Kohlberger's arrest has raised lots of questions about the Idaho quadruple murders, but this speculation forces on 2 key points without any solid information. What's the motive? That has to be number one. And where's the murder weapon? There's one source of information we have, and it's the arrest warrant from Corporal Brett Payne. Now, here's my thing about this, because I think I keep hearing a lot of you guys say it's such a home run case. No murder weapon, no motive. And touch DNA on an object not actually in the house, on an object that's in the house, not anything else that was already in the house. Not sure if I'm buying the whole he's nailed to the wall thing. I think that this case is very circumstantial at best. Now, I do admit, I do agree the DNA thing is the best thing that they have, but then ultimately you're going to have to ask yourself, is it admissible the way they initially got the DNA? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that now that he's in custody, they're able to pull him in and get his DNA, get a warrant for his actual DNA. But here's what's weird. We haven't heard anything about that. So far, we're still going on the concept and idea about the dad's DNA, and I haven't heard anything. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't really know. But to me, you would think, now granted, there's a gag order, so that's probably not going to happen. But you would think they've gotten his DNA by now and matched it. So I will say this, that the knife sheath is definitely something that can convict him. Because I'm sure by now it's proven that it is his touch DNA on the knife sheath. Just to make that clear. And by the way, it's not that I don't think he did it. It's just that I think they're going to have a lot of trouble convincing 12 jurors. If I was on the jury right now, I would say not guilty. Is it because I don't think he's guilty? No. But you have to prove in a death penalty case you have to do this. I'm not going to put no man to death and you didn't hammer it home. You didn't really prove it to me, right? And let's take a look at some of these questions. Why didn't Dylan call 911 after seeing the perp? This is one of the first questions, and we've discussed this quite a lot. And I get it. A lot of you guys are like, she was just stunned for 8 hours, JB. Right. This has been the most remarked upon aspect of the affidavit, it says. Adding to the fact that even 7 hours later, DM's first call was not to 911, but to friends who arrived and apparently participated in the 911 call. What has been overlooked was what has been overlooked has been the strongly positive aspect of Dylan's eyewitness encounter. Her description of who she saw in the house undoubtedly helped inform the focus on Kohlberger once his car was found. And as such informed the subsequent search warrants done on the phone movements and likely his social media, cloud account, and other digital platforms. See, here's the thing. When I'm looking at this whole Dylan thing, okay, she was in such shock. She was just frozen in fear for 8 hours. But yet somehow she's able to pick him out of a lineup. She's able to say bushy eyebrows. She's got a whole fucking story to tell, right? But she didn't have that story to tell to the police or anyone else till 8 hours later. She even called her people. In my opinion, Dylan got rid of drugs. In my opinion, that's why she didn't call the police. She had to clean some shit up. Because she knew there was going to be a big forensic investigation. Police were going to comb that fucking place. And I'm just being honest. That's my position here. Now, this is a good question I think somebody needs to answer as well. Number 2, how did reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phones lead investigators to believe homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m.? In fact, let me go ahead and click on this fucking affidavit. Let me go ahead and do this because it's not showing. Son of a bitch. I thought that was going to be the affidavit. Guess it's not. I had to pull it back up. But on page 5, it says that reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phone led investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25. How is that possible? How would Dylan and Bethany's phone records show that the murder happened at between 4 and 4:25? How would that be? Is there something on that phones? Is there audio? Is there video? Right now, all the conspiracy theorists and 4chaners and Redditors are currently passing around an audio they say is from inside the house where someone was being chased to the outside. And that's why the blood was on the outside. Is it possible, and I'm not saying that's what I believe, is it possible that the phones did somehow record or pick up something? I'm struggling on this. Presumably, both surviving roommates consented to a dump of their phones for the night in question, and likely the morning after. What content there helped investigators fix the time of death? That's something that no one is talking about. How is it possible at all that data from Dylan and Bethany's phone somehow fixed the time of death? That's a question that has to be asked. It has to be answered. Number 3, why the term suspect vehicle 1 as opposed to simply suspect vehicle? Is there a second car? Or is this just a vestige of language from earlier in the investigation? I don't think so. Like I've been telling you, verbiage matters, especially in legal documents. I've been in legal situations and it's never said suspect vehicle 1. Remember when I said about the belief that there could possibly be someone else involved? Why? The co-defendant theory. Why does this affidavit specifically say suspect vehicle 1? I don't see how anyone cannot ask that question. And if there is a second car, how, when, where? Is it also Is it also a white Elantra? Number 4, where was the latent shoe print found, and in what direction was it pointing? This matters because it could well indicate the killer's path through the house, which we pretty much already know, and therefore the order of the murders, and even potentially the main target. Also, the print wasn't discovered until the second crime scene used a special liquid that illuminates blood. Ain't it awesome how all of this shit... I want you to think about this. The shoe print wasn't found to the second investigators. The knife sheath wasn't found to the second investigators. Let me ask you a serious question. What's the odds of that? The initial investigators didn't see the knife sheath laying right there by the body? I'm confused about that, right? And so they also didn't see the footprint. This matters because, it said about the path. With so much blood at a scene the police have described as graphic, it begs the question. Did the perpetrator attempt to clean up after the crime? And that's a very valid point. Why is there only one footprint, one shoe? And so far, as you saw in the search warrant for Brian Kohlberger's apartment, there was no Van shoes taken. But you know who I'm hearing did wear Van shoes? Dylan, Bethany. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of these girls, college girls, a lot of what type of, just them type of chicks wear those shoes. It makes sense to me. I bet the shoe print doesn't even have anything to do with anything. Number 5, why, if Kohlberger's car was discovered by Washington State University police on November 29th, why did the task force allow him to leave town 2 weeks later? That's a very valid point. If you had all this information, why did you allow him to leave? Why didn't you at least bring him in for questioning? Do we not do that in criminal cases anymore? Do we not bring potential suspects in for questioning? How come Brian Kohlberger was never, ever brought in for questioning? Think about something. November 29th, supposedly they knew who he was. December, 7th is when they released the white Elantra information. Kohlberger was already on the radar on the 29th. They let him leave in the white Elantra that they were begging us for information on. If everything is what it says to be in the affidavit and everything else, none of this shit makes any sense to me. That's a big one. Consider Kohlberger matched Dylan's description of the perp. Owned a white Elantra of the correct year. That's not true at all. It wasn't of the correct year, Fox. The Elantra was not of the correct year. They didn't say we're looking for a 2015 white Elantra. They never said that. That never was a... What was it, 2012, 2013 they were looking for? No one ever said 2015 white Elantra. They're full of shit. It's all full of shit. And the car was missing a front plate just like the car in the videos police pulled. Pretty unique. Why not get a search warrant and do a sneak and peek in the car at that point? That's a good point. To check for DNA or blood. Why not get Kohlberger's DNA from his garbage in Pullman at that point? Exactly. Was the task force simply too overburdened? As it is, Kohlberger, an accused quadruple murderer, ended up at large for another month. That's an outstanding point. If you had him on November 29th and you believed he was the guy, why would you give him the opportunity to get rid of, to destroy all this evidence? While the task force undeniably did a masterful job on the case, this one is puzzling. Number 6, why were the car stops in Indiana made? The reported reason was to check Kohlberger's hands for cuts, but clearly, more than a month after the murders and with the task force already in possession of some very solid evidence against them, the risk-reward ratio for this tactic was poor. Would his cuts not have already healed? Good question. Would the stop not tip him off to the cops' focus? Remember, by the way, Kohlberger finished up the semester. Like, you don't think that, like, somebody at school or, like, that would have been noticed? As it is, Kohlberger began wearing gloves outside his home back in Pennsylvania. Well, it is winter. and reportedly made efforts to hide his garbage among his neighbors. As it appears to be the only contact he had with the police before his arrest, clearly the stops raised him up. Is there another reason this call was made? Good question. Number 7, why did Koberger reportedly take such a circuitous route from the crime scene? It's actually a new word for me. Was he attempting to avoid leaving a video trail of his car's movements? Well, see, I don't understand why. You're the same people that say he's dumb. That somehow he let video trails of evidence and phone records. So now all of a sudden on his way home, Brian Koberger somehow all of a sudden is like, yeah, man, I don't want to get caught on camera in the car. Had he used his school's access to local video feeds in planning it? Or did he ditch the murder weapon somewhere along the way? It is interesting to note that the circuitous route he took later in the day of the murders brought him right up to the Snake River. So they're suggesting possibly that's where the knife is. Number 8, why did Koberger's phone ping in Moscow? Now this is a big one. At one point when the affidavit said he wasn't there was a time in the affidavit that Koberger's phone pinged, but the affidavit said he wasn't there. Make that make sense. Explain that. Because guess what? The defense is going to eat this shit up. If it happened once, listen to what I'm saying before y'all start flipping out. If Koberger's phone pinged once and he wasn't there, they believe he was not there. They said he was not there. Wouldn't a good defense attorney said, well, then how do you know he was there all the other times, motherfuckers? If the phone pinged once there and he wasn't there, and that's factual, stated in the affidavit, who's to say he was there all the other times? Defense is going to eat that shit up. Was he simply near to the border of the two cell tower zones? Exactly. The cell tower pings are not exact. He's only 8 to 10 miles. My cell phone probably pings off shit 8 to 10 miles all the time. Or did someone have his phone for some reason? Bam! The defense is going to eat that shit up. Man, somebody had his phone. Somebody was driving his car. Can you place him there? Come to find out, somebody stole. He had his fucking pocket knife. He had his knife in the fucking car. His dope fiend, heroin addict buddy took his car. Bro, I'm telling you. Remember, there's only touch DNA. We have no evidence of any DNA of his actually in the crime. Not on the body so far, at least so far that we know. Not on anything. He didn't touch anything. Despite remember they said they fought. Is there his DNA under their nails? Bro, if the DNA is only on the button of this knife sheath, I'm sorry, man. This isn't going to work. I don't believe so. Number 9, why was Koberger in Johnson, Idaho later in the day after the murders? And why did his phone stop reporting there? Another big one. Johnson, Idaho is a remote quarry area roughly 2 hours from Moscow. Yet his phone reported there from 5:32 to 5:36 after the murders. This is that night, the next night. Then went dead until 8:30 p.m. Did he ditch evidence out there? That's a good question. Further, what does this paragraph's concluding sentence mean? Here's what the sentence says. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area, that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. Despite the typo I supplied the missing in, this is a very mysterious, opaque sentence. Was he in Johnson twice after the murders? Good question. Number 10, why a 6-month continuance? This is simple. It's to prepare for the case. It's very normal. Well, usually it's 90 days, but it's very normal. With all the evidence in the affidavit, and likely more already gathered, a 6-month delay for simple probable cause hearing is highly unusual. And I will give him that. It's a probable cause hearing, so I agree with that completely. Understand that this doesn't mean the trial begins in 6 months. After this hearing, there will be the arraignment, exactly, where he will then plead. Likely a motion to change venue, the discovery process, evidentiary motions and hearings, jury selection, a trial, and then potentially a sentencing. Then, of course, there'll be an appeal. At this rate, the process could take years. It will. Why did the prosecution and judge so readily agree? Are there plea negotiations going on? Does the prosecution need the time to search for the weapon? To investigate possible prior bad acts? Well, no. It's because they don't have enough to convict him. They need more shit. And they're hoping that 6 months will do the job. None of these observations, to my mind, damages the case against Kohberger. I don't see any of them raising reasonable doubt. That's foolish. But going forward will be answers to the above that will provide a fuller picture of the prosecutor's case. I disagree. I think all of these things raises reasonable doubt. If I was on the jury, I would say not guilty. Because you haven't proven it to me. You have not etched it in my mind Brian Kohberger killed these people. You haven't? I have reasonable doubt. Many people in my audience have reasonable doubt. So I'm going to ask you, do you, in the comments section, let me know, do you have reasonable doubt or not? Just put reasonable doubt or guilty. Reasonable doubt. Okay, we'll do it this way. If you were on the jury and you know you cannot send a man to death if there's reasonable doubt, do you have reasonable doubt? Guilty, not guilty. Don't think with your heart. Be just. Think justice. Would you send a man to death with the evidence that they have for you? It's my question. Guys, if you like what I do here, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel. This thing only works because of you guys. With how controversial some of my views are, YouTube is I can monetize, but let's be honest, it won't work. You know what I'm saying? Just understand, I've been in this game a long time. I know that once you monetize, that's when they start looking at you more closely. And I have had enough channels taken down to know, just trying to kind of steer away from that. So we don't have super chats on the channel. You guys know how to support it. I thank you guys so much. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. These are the 10 key questions left after the affidavit. What do you guys think? Which ones really are key to you? Or do you think it's a bunch of nothing? Just curious. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.